Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All American Cooking. Today we are talking about either an Easter dinner or just a Sunday dinner. I've got a beautiful pork and loin roast that we're going to throw on the smoker, but first we're going to make a rub for it. So our rub begins with 2 teaspoons of sugar in the raw. You can use brown sugar, but I like the sugar in the raw. It's nice thick granules. Follow that up with 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, about a half teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, half teaspoon chipotle chili powder, half teaspoon of mustard powder, and about an 1/8 teaspoon of ground thyme. Now we grab our favorite tool, which is our itty bitty whisk, and we whisk to combine. Okay, so now that our rub is made, let's focus on our pork. This is about a 3-pound bone-in sirloin end pork roast. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to score it on a diagonal. This is going to help that rub get in nice and deep to the meat, and it's going to look really cool when it comes off the smoker. So take your time, get a good sharp knife. Doesn't have to be perfect. Rustic is what we call it, right? Rustic. It's going to look cool though, and it's going to taste amazing. Okay, so now we're going to give it a scotch of oil. This is just going to help the seasoning stick and help give us a nice bark, because this is not going to take very long in the smoker. Even at about 300, 275, it is not going to take long at all. So get it nice and coated with the oil, and then get one of my gloves off here. We will go ahead and start hitting this thing with our rub, concentrating more on the meat side. We don't need the bone side as much, and it is a rub, so make sure you're rubbing it in. Make sure you're rubbing it in, especially where you just made those score marks, because that's going to help get that flavor nice and deep in there. So a little bit on the sides, on the bottom end. And again, you're not looking for anything crazy, just a nice even coating. It's a pretty simple little rub, simple flavors. You know, a lot of people like to do marinades and stuff like that with pork. If I'm going to smoke it, I'm fine with just a simple rub. And again, Sunday dinner, you know, Easter's coming up, so you know, a lot of people like to do ham, or they like to do a big pork roast or a smoked salmon or something like that. This is something a little different you can try. So we'll go ahead and we'll finish up the rest of that rub. Get it all over nice. And then let's head out to the smoker with this kid. And the last thing we're going to do before we bring it out to the smoker, just to ensure a perfect cook, I've got a wireless meat thermometer here. I'm going to find the fattest part over here away from the bone, and we're going to stick that kid in right about there. That should be nice in the middle. This will get the ambient temperature. The inside will get, of course, the internal temperature. All right, let's head to the smoker. Okay, my smoker is just about 300 degrees, which is almost perfect. And we're going to go the further side away from the heat source, so it'll be a little less than 300. And we're just going to pop that kid on there. I've got it set for 145 degrees, so we'll be back in about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and it should be ready. And after about 2 hours, keeping the temperature steady between 250 and 275, take a look at what we've got to work with here. Is that not a beautiful piece of meat? Now all we want to do is wrap this kid in foil and let it sit for about 15 minutes to rest before we slice it. So after cutting it in half, the first thing to do is separate the cap from the bones, which I'm going to do here, and then I'll just let you watch the beauty as I slice this kid up. I know you're dying to know how we did, right? Let's try it out. It is so juicy, so tender. And that spice rub, wow. You gotta do this. Any cut of pork will do. Just make that rub. Cook it, smoke it, grill it, whatever. Make the rub. Don't eat boring food. We'll see you next time. All American Cooking. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.